Hey everybody, good morning. Welcome to Friday, March 21st. It is Friday. We are excited to be here. And it's Friday, which means we get to talk cool stuff in Utah. It's a weekend. We want to start things off right? We want to talk good things, get you interested in the weekend, get you started off right, get you out doing something cool for the weekend. And we loved starting with cool stuff in Utah, talking with John Smith from the Arrow. He gets out, he talks, and introduces us to some interesting spots here in the state. And John Smith.
I feel like I'm too close. I need to back up.
Well,
here we go.
You ran in here all hot.
Is this better?
You jumped into the hot seat. I was going to say, get down here. You're a little late, my friend. Just
I'm
kidding.
late. I'm so sorry.
We pulled you off the radio. I said, get down here now. All right, get squared up.
Okay, so we're talking about cool stuff in Utah today. Which episode did we pick?
Okay, we picked the Sugar House episode.
Yes,
because
I love this one.
Sugar House Park. We got through the wild weather of the week, John Smith, and folks might want to get out and enjoy some sunshine that we might get here in the next week. We're gonna reach into the 70s next week, by the way.
Yeah, by
70,
Wednesday, right?
5. I talked to Kristen Van Dyke, and she about blew my mind when she said 75 next week.
So excited.
So we wanted to talk about the Sugar House episode, get folks excited to get out, enjoy some sunshine next week. And this episode is so cool because there is some major history with Sugar House Park.
Yes, and being that today is the first full day of spring, and like you said, we've got warm weather coming up. What better time to get out and explore one of the most historic sites in Salt Lake County, which, believe it or not, was once home to the Utah State Prison.
Ooh, okay. Right, mind blowing here.
Right.
Okay, we're gonna watch this episode and we're gonna dive into it here. But tell me what do we call them? Easter eggs? Is that what they say?
2 Easter eggs.
Give me 2 Easter eggs to look for in this episode.
Okay, one is you've got Lieutenant Matt Coombs, who is they don't like using the word guard at the they don't even like using the word prison. The Utah Correctional Facility. They use the word officer. He's a correctional officer. He's a lieutenant. I've known him for 30 years. And this is a guy who truly, truly loves not only what he does, helping to educate the community on the role of a prison in modern society. It's not what we think. And he's the perfect guy to tell us, what the history of this prison actually was.
How did you get permission to talk to him? Was it they gave you permission to talk to him?
Yes, actually, I went to high school with Matt. I've known Matt forever. And we did another episode that you can find on YouTube where we went and we toured the old Utah State Prison right before they tore it down.
So watch for Matt here.
And
then the other thing to look for is what?
This you can actually see in that shot right behind us there. That is actually the one remaining section of the original Sugar House Prison from the 1950s.
Still there that you might pass anytime you're in the park and you might not realize
people don't even realize
the significance of it. So, okay, we're going to watch here the history of Sugar House Park in this episode number who knows what.
It's in there somewhere. I think it's in the 30s.
In the 30s. Sugar House Park. And we're going to come back and talk to John Smith about this episode of Cool Stuff in Utah. So, as you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, if you have any questions for John as you're watching this episode, put them in the chat. We'll ask John when we come back from this. So I'm going to cue this up here. Stay with us. And this is Sugar House Park.
This is fun, right?
Yeah.
Sugar House Park, 110 acres of rolling green hills, trees, pavilions, picnic tables, and for 100 years was the home of a notorious prison. Say hi to Lieutenant Coombs.
Hi.
I call him Matt because he's a homie from the west side. Lieutenant Coombs is with the Utah Department of Corrections. He's here to share some of the history about the Sugar House Prison.
This was actually a prison site before Utah was even a state.
No kidding.
The original prison site was a pit with bars over top to keep the inmates in.
It's a little bit different than what people experience in prison now.
Very much so.
So this site was chosen for the prison because it was well away from Salt Lake City and all the neighborhoods. But eventually, neighborhoods kind of found and built around the Sugar House Prison. So they moved
to Draper. Once again, far away from all the neighborhoods and hustle and bustle. But the Draper prison is now closed.
Yes.
In fact, torn down.
It's been demolished.
And so this here is actually from the Sugar House prison.
Yes. This monument was dedicated in 1988. These stones that are in the wall are actually stones from the prison site when they demolished it in the 50s.
So there's a lot of Utah history tied up here. In fact, Lieutenant Coombs' grandpa was a guard at the Sugar House prison.
Yes, my grandfather Norman Coombs was an officer out here up until World War II, and then he enlisted and spent time in the military. That's the reason I grow my beard, because if you look at the picture of him, if I shaved, I'd look exactly like him.
So it's a nice day today, right? Sun's out, blue sky, geese on the pond. But back in the early 1900s, about right where I'm standing would be where they would have done most of the executions, many of them by firing squad, including a guy by the name of Joe Hill in 1915. Joe Hill was a part of the labor union and was convicted of a crime in 1914, which many say he did not commit. In fact, there's a lot of books and even folk songs written about the guy. You should look him up. There was a graveyard here as well, right?
Yes, when the inmates were executed or they died of natural causes and there's nobody to claim the body, they buried them in the cemetery that was on site at the old prison.
Right about right here.
Right, yeah.
And did they move the bodies?
I think so.
And the fact that there's a bunch of dead trees behind us? Coincidence.
Sure.
So most of the prison grounds became Sugar House Park. The other portion of it became Highland High School, whose colors are black and white. I wonder if that's because... Nah, it couldn't be it. Could it? Probably. So there's a lot of other cool stuff about Sugar House Park. For example, this court right here, donated by the Utah Jazz. Okay, I'm gonna try and recreate this. You ready? That was actually pretty close. You and me, Matt, here we go. We're gonna go up the stairs, through the tunnel, down the pole, up the net, and then down that slide. Ready? On your mark, get... Go! Whee! Ninja roll! Can't get out! This is fun, right?
Yeah.
There's jogging paths. I think it's yogging with a soft J. I lost my phone. Did I lose my phone in the playground?
Probably.
Okay, well, thanks. Thanks to Matt from the prison. Thanks to Sugar House Park. Gotta go find my phone. Oh, wait. Like it, subscribe to it, comment below. Oh, hi.
Okay. That might have been one of my favorite episodes. The fact that you got Lieutenant Combs on the swing set. I love that.
He's a big old teddy bear. He
love
puts
that.
on a good show.
I love that. Hey, Darlene on Facebook, thanks for the comment here. She says, I love these videos. Thanks for doing them. So if you're watching on Facebook, please leave your comments for John Smith. If you like these videos, share your comments on which videos you've liked or where you'd like to see John go next. He loves seeing these comments. We like reading them as well. If you have questions for him, please weigh in. Okay, so this super interesting. I've got some questions. I was kind of chuckling through some of these. So what still remains? You showed us the wall. What still remains in Sugar House Park from this correctional facility, the original here in Utah?
There's actually a couple of things that are still there. One, there is part of the original foundation, which is right over by the edge of Highland High School. If you walk the perimeter of the park, you can kind of see the original foundation there is kind of right up next to the grass. You'll see some brickwork. So if you're really looking to do some history and impress your friends, I'm sure that's what people are impressed by. And then there's also a marker placed to the final warden of the prison in 1950, which a lot of people assumed was a gravestone because it's a cement marker in the ground with his name on it. It's not, but it was placed there as a cornerstone in the 1950s while the prison was still active, and they left that there. You can catch that right on the northwest corner of the park itself in the grass.
Wow. Okay. Growing up in Utah,
Right.
We went to the fireworks show at Sugar House Park.
Yeah.
We visited the cemetery downtown to kind of scare each other and do those.
The Emo's Grave.
Yeah,
right?
Emo's Grave.
Absolutely.
Are teenagers doing this at Sugar House Park when it comes to stuff like this?
Boy, they should be, because when you think about the the
crazy.
creepy urban legend factor
Right.
that we could have. So we mentioned
Not
in
to
the
encourage
episode.
this, but it's kind of
Yeah,
kinda wild.
There's two things that we mentioned in the episode that are kind of creepy, and I'm surprised we don't have more urban legends about it. Right? We have the execution, the firing.
look at those
squad.
guys.
Yes.
Wow.
Right. And it all happened right there on the ground where we play like frisbee and disc golf. But the other thing is that there was a cemetery in the park. What is now the park?
Let's talk about that.
Yes. So-
Okay, so you brought it up here. What have you found in terms of further digging into this? By the way, Darlene Butler says my grandfather was a guard at the prison.
No way.
No
That's cool.
way, Darlene, by the way. What do we know about the cemetery at Sugar House Park? How long ago, by the way? And are we sure there are not remains still there?
We're not sure.
That's
So
kinda
when the prison was
crazy.
torn down, they said they the people that were in charge of demolition.
Who do we talk to
and-
about this?
Right, exactly. And that's the records from the 1950s. They don't show all of the individual graves where they moved to, because a lot of them were just unclaimed prisoners or people that had been executed by the state and put in a sort of potter's field on the cemetery grounds. They moved them, but nobody seems to have record as to
Where?
or who moved them or when they moved them or what they used to move. All we have.
Somebody's got to know.
Somebody's got to know.
Somebody's got to know.
But as far as I could find literally in 3 years of research on this episode, I could not find anything that was specific enough that I could say they moved everybody or really that they moved anybody.
So they actually did the executions in the park.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right on the on the northern side of the park. That is the grass side. In fact, you can see right where I'm standing right there.
Isn't
on
this
the,
so wild, John? I mean, we grew up in Utah,
Yeah.
and this is the park. My version of the park is playing grass volleyball.
Yeah.
Growing up there, and fireworks shows, and dog
Yeah.
walks, and parade things.
The
there.
marathons.
Marathons.
Yeah.
Not this really interesting history
Yeah.
of Utah in this park.
And you
Wow.
notice that that was a prison for 100 years up until the 1950s, right?
Wow.
There are houses there that are about that same age. You had houses that were literally across the street, and you would have kids that would throw baseballs over to the prisoners and back and forth. They would play catch with prisoners in the yard
Man, that's
in the
fascinating.
1930s and the 1920s.
Okay, I want to bring up the fact that Highland High.
Yeah.
Is there really, really any correlation between the colors of Highland High and the fact that this prison existed there? Because that is just too
I made the
coincidental.
connection. I thought it was a funny joke, but I really don't know. I never really asked.
Anyone? Anyone online? Anyone in the comments? I'm
Black and
looking.
white. They look like the
Anyone?
Hamburglar. Come on.
Come on. There's no way there's not a connection to that. That's just too good. First of all, I got the fact that you got Lieutenant Combs and the fact that do you say it was great grandfather or grandfather?
His grandfather.
His
Yeah.
grandfather.
In the 1930s and 1940s.
That's pretty awesome.
Isn't that great?
That's incredible. That's incredible. And
Matt-
that's him?
Matt, that's his grandpa right there. Yeah.
And look at him. They look
And
same.
Matt is he's a tough as nails dude. He's been a prison guard for 19 years, and he's a Marine Corps veteran. And honestly, he's
Very cool.
he's a big teddy bear. I love him to death. Love him like a brother. And he was super kind to participate, not just in this episode, but he helped us get access to the former prison before they tore it down. So we were actually the last camera crew to go through the old prison before they tore it down. So that episode's on YouTube as well. It's pretty cool. You should check it out.
Okay, so to find that episode, what's that one called?
I think it's just called Utah State Prison.
Utah State Prison.
Yeah.
Very interesting episode. Very cool episode. So if you grew up in Utah, Sugar House Park, you've been there. You may not have known some of these details about the park. Very, very interesting. It might change the way you see the park the next time you go there.
Right.
Especially this summer as you get out to enjoy the spring weather. something to talk about, right? Next time you go walk around the park, look for some of
Yeah.
these markers, some of these things, talk about the history. Love this look at Utah history, John Smith. Love it.
It's funny to be in a state where everything is less than 100 years old, right? Like
Yeah.
most of what we see compared to we'll say New York or Washington D.C. or Boston where they have buildings there that are 200, 300 years old. Everything in Utah is relatively new to the eastern side of the country. So when you find these spots that have such a deep-rooted history to not just Salt Lake City, but the state of Utah as well, it's really cool to dig in and learn about the history. It's a lot of fun.
Fantastic. Cool stuff in Utah. John Smith, let's pitch it. Where can folks go to watch all of these great episodes?
You know, the best way right now is just go to YouTube and look for 103.5 The Arrow, or just type in cool stuff in Utah into YouTube, and they'll all come up. There's like 75 episodes.
Sounds great. Will you join us next Friday? Give us a new episode to talk about?
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Hey, folks, again, leave your comments there in the chat. If you've got another episode you want John to talk about, you have any questions for him, we'll bring him on again next Friday to kick off the weekend, talk about another cool thing here in Utah, get that mind turning, get you out looking at something interesting here in our state, and just, get you talking.
We need to
love
get
that.
Shara Park out there and do one of these.
No, where do you want to? Where do you
videos.
want to send me? What should I go
Get you,
check
get
out?
you on the roof of what high school did you go to?
I went to Granger.
Oh, see the old Granger High School building. That would have been perfect, but they tore it down.
You know what? The new one's pretty cool though too.
Maybe we'll go play there. We'll get you on the roof.
My name is on a plaque in Granger High School.
What?
Oh yeah, there's some
Okay,
history there.
I'm gonna do some digging.
Yeah, you can go find some good stuff about Granger
Go
High
Lancers.
School. Go Lancers. All right, everybody. Hey, have a great weekend. This is going to be a wonderful weekend. We're warming up, like I said, next week. Get out, enjoy the weather into the weekend. Might be a little cooler today, though. So, but it's Friday. Let's celebrate the fact that it is Friday. We've made it to the weekend. Go check out John Smith on the Arrow 103.5 and check out cool stuff in Utah over on YouTube. John, thank you so much.
Thank you, Shara Park.
Okay, we'll see y'all later.